important to understand what's happening on a cellular level so that you understand why you're changing your choices around that. So if you have that feeling like after you eat pasta or bread that you feel really, really bloated, what your body is doing is it's setting off an immune response. So it's sending cytokines in to fight what your body thinks is something that's foreign, that shouldn't be there. So you feel that bloating feeling. Then from that, over time, it can wear down the villi on the inside of your digestive system. So this is where you absorb all of your nutrients. If you wear that down completely, then that is known as celiac disease. So when you sort of reach that point, it's irreversible damage, and you don't really absorb the nutrients from your food. There's another host of issues that can come from that because you aren't getting the nutrient content from your food. Another part of that is it can encourage leaky gut syndrome. So it's a really lovely name, leaky gut. Sounds great. It is when you have food particles that getting through the lining of your stomach and it's going into your bloodstream. So that is triggering a secondary response that your body needs to fight off whatever is going around in your bloodstream. So your body doesn't know the difference between the food particle or between your thyroid or your brain or something else, and you can have a situation where your body starts attacking itself. So that's known as autoimmune disease. So there's a huge array of autoimmune diseases, and that's sort of where they originate from. So a lot of the time, if people are having other issues, it can be that it's actually started from the gut and from the types of food. So typically with most people that we work with, we do take out gluten. You can, if you're not sure about it and you're sort of questioning, oh, I think it's okay for me, we could do a muscle testing session around that. We could also, if you take it out for 2 weeks and then you go and have like a gluten fest and then see how you feel, because what happens is your body, if it's already inflamed, it will stay in a state of inflammation and you won't really notice the gluten. So you can eat it all the time, you're kind of like, well, it's not really setting off the bloating or doing anything like that. But when all the inflammation goes down in your stomach and then you do have gluten, usually you will notice it. And I don't think I've really worked with anyone who hasn't noticed that they feel better and that they get leaner from taking it out. So it is harder. It's probably, it's making that choice and making that decision, but it's definitely worth it. Where you put weight on with gluten is on your hips and on your stomach, and your body stays in a state of inflammation. It makes it really hard to make any progress. So that if you were just going to, if you felt that that's where you're at and you were going to just focus on one thing, that is huge, and it will change your results that you get over the next 60 days. Sometimes people ask, can you have a little bit? And unfortunately, it is the size of a pinhead of gluten that sets off a reaction in your body from 3 to 9 months, which is crazy. And it's amazing that this knowledge isn't really out there. It's not mainstream knowledge. And a big thing of opening this place was to be able to bring that knowledge to you guys and protect you from that. So sugar and dairy come second in terms of inflammation. Dairy intolerances are probably around 85% of the population. So just to bear that in mind, we'll give you some alternatives around that. And usually you can feel if you fall into that. If not, you can always do muscle testing with us and we can see what you respond to. I've done a lot of testing with nuts and nut milk, and unfortunately a high amount of people are intolerant to nuts. So it's one of those things to bear in mind. I probably, of the nuts that I've tested, the most common ones that come back okay is almonds if they've got the skin off, because the phytic acid is found in the skin. Macadamia nuts, don't ask me why, but that just seems to clear on a lot of people. And they're probably the main two. But if you wanted to do the testing, you could book that in with me to find out. And then because nuts set that off, then nut milks will also set that off. And it's one of those things, like food can either be your best friend or it can make you feel really, really crappy. So it's just working out what it is for you. And it's one of those things, it's like I didn't write the rules. It is challenging at times, but it's also going, okay, well, that is what it is. I'm gonna focus on what I can have and move towards those things. Like I always find that people respond better to including seeds and things like that. So, you know, sometimes I was like, oh, I felt bad giving this information, but then I think there is so much